So I was doing some portfolio maintenance and some just looking around and stuff. And that
portfolio. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you're the only person I've ever heard it pronounce it. Portfolio.
Well, I am a
portfolio. Hey, come on, paisan.
I'm trading here.
Hey, I'm talking here. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Crypto Basic Podcast. You are listening to our Flagship Friday. Just a reminder, our Flagship Friday episodes is where we cover news, events in the crypto world, in the world of broad economics, where we just try to break down a little bit of a slice of how we see this week in the world. And of course, here with me are my co-host, Brent Philbin.
Whoop, whoop.
And Adam Ruthless Levy.
Hello, hello, hello.
And of course, I'm Karim Baruch. And guys, how are you doing today? Are you excited about this Flagship Friday episode?
I'm
So
excited
pumped.
to hear how Adam almost died. Right before we got on the air, he said, well, I almost died yesterday. And I said, save it for the air.
Oh, man.
What a tease. But hold on.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler. That goes in the rant section for all those longtime listeners that love us. But just in case you're listening for the first time, we're going to kick things off with some crypto news. And first thing we like to do is our rapid fire section. These are news items that are worth mentioning, worth covering, but we're not going to dive in deep. We call it rapid fire because it takes us forever to go through it. Who's going to take it today, boys?
Well, this looks like it's basically all Adam, but I did find something funny on his first one.
Okay, so Adam. Rapid
All right.
fire Adam. Here he comes.
Okay, here I come to save the day. So the first one is actually a pretty cool one. Mark Cuban, as we all know of Shark Tank fame, he's definitely the guy I feel like he wins the most on Shark Tank, to be honest. But yeah, he's also the Dallas Mavericks owner. And he has said that he hates gold as an investment and views Bitcoin as fundamentally the same thing. He did this in an interview last week with Kitco News, whatever that is. And he's basically just saying they're both collectibles, the value is based off supply and demand, blah, blah, blah. And we got Mark Cuban on our side, who has also previously invested in Unicoin, which is I think it's like an esports betting app market. What's up?
It's Adam Street Sweeper.
Yeah, that was a street sweeper. It happens I don't know what, it's just a part of the show unless you want to move when we tape it. But yeah, so Unicoin I remember seeing it and being somewhat interested in it. But yeah, he's invested in that. And then also, yeah, what were you going to say, Karim?
Yeah, go ahead, Brent.
This is a bullish or bullshit article to me because the title of this article was Mark Cuban sees gold and BTC is the same thing. And it was kind of presented as like, it's a good thing. Like, it's good for Bitcoin, right? So I went to the source article rather than the CoinDesk rehash of the article or whatever it was. Might have been CoinDesk or who was it? Was Coin World 360. Sorry, it was the one that reported it. Click on the source article. I wrote in our outline here, don't click this yet. And see what the quote actually was.
I hate gold. Gold is a religion. I do not see it as an alternative to currency.
Mark Cuban says gold and Bitcoin are equally useless was actually the name of the article that they got this from. And somehow they spinned it into like, Mark Cuban thinks Bitcoin and gold are great or something.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Literally, he just talked about how bad it was.
I got a rant here, though, guys.
But that's also not true. Go ahead, Karim.
Yeah, so I'm definitely, of course, we're pro crypto here, and I think that Bitcoin has unique potential. But I think it's ridiculous to say that gold is worthless or pointless. I think that this is probably one of the dumbest things that Mark Cuban has said. Or let me not say dumbest.
Oh.
It probably is, just like in my case, where you only look at gold from a distance. So it seems like an investment vehicle. And you just think to yourself, oh, look, gold is this thing that people invest in. And then later on they sell it. It's just a commodity. But it's really not. It's like an element. It's one of the building blocks
Ooh, it's
of
an
nature.
element. Ooh.
No, guys, seriously, though. Like, it's literally...
It's AU coin.
all right. So I was watching another interview. It's interesting. Maybe I'll re-listen to that and take some notes because I wanted to cover this on it. But gold is actually used to make things, and gold is actually rare on a universal scale. Gold is used in electronics. It's one of the only metals that doesn't corrode. It's the most noble metal that we have. It'll corrode less than platinum, titanium, iron, copper. So literally the building blocks of civilization. This is a unique thing. Also, this isn't even necessarily just made randomly. We've been trying to make gold for thousands of years, and you can't. You need colliding neutron stars and supernovas to make gold. So literally it's a very rare arrangement of atoms that can be used for very unique things. And as we saw on that Crypto Voices Twitter feed, guys, that was looking at the monetary base, I don't know if you remember, but the market cap of gold was many times more than every other currency. It was more than the US dollar and the Japanese yen combined as far as base money supply. So I think that it's really underestimating gold and the role that it plays in our civilization.
I agree, and I also want to clarify that there is a reason why the CoinNews360.com decided to spin this article, because this is legitimately a fake news title. Because it says the good news about Bitcoin is that there's a finite supply, and the bad news about gold is that they'll keep mining more. So, like, right in this Kitco article, there's a difference between gold and crypto, and somehow or Bitcoin, they're still lumping it in together. But I guess this is a good point to just kind of go a little deeper into the sources sometimes, and not just call from like a news aggregator always.
Yeah.
And also, Karim made the statement, this is the dumbest thing Mark Cuban's ever said. So I'm pretty sure Mark Cuban says some dumb things.
Mark Cuban, if you want to come on the show and defend yourself, I'm sure you have plenty of time
we'll
three
make an
idiots.
Exception. We'll let him on.
Yeah, we'll let him on.
Oh, but also, Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks are now accepting Bitcoin through BitPay, and they are the second team to do it. Now, Karim or Brent, you guys are both very big sports aficionados. Can you please tell me, and I say that, facetiously, but can you please tell me who the first team ever to accept Bitcoin is? Because they were the second.
First sports team?
Basketball.
Or NBA team. I don't know who the first one was. I know the Dolphins are working with Litecoin, but...
Yep.
I'm going to, if I remember correctly, and also if I can read your outline, it was the Kings in 2014.
Oh my God. We got a cheater over here.
You didn't even put it on the drop down.
I know. So moving on from the Mark Cuban rapid fire, Binance actually unveils the coins that will be available on its US exchange. And I'm really sad, guys. Do you want to know why I'm sad? I think maybe you guys could figure it out.
Oh, no Tron?
Yeah, no Tron.
No Tron.
There's no Tron on there, and I don't know what to do with myself right
this
now.
Is bullish
it's
for
probably
Binance.
just got kidney stones.
Yeah, Tron will be back in a few weeks. But the funny thing is that there's like this thing called BCH ABC. Is that just Bitcoin Cash? A new abbreviation?
No, it's not. It's old.
Oh, but yeah. So there are 30 coins. Your BFF Hoskinson, his coin, Cardano will be on there. We got Mana. We got all these different Nano, Neo, like a lot of the ones that are pretty well known. XRP. And no engine though. And I was a little, I was sad to see that. But you can't have it all. And this is definitely a good start to the first 30 that they're going to have in Binance US's exchange.
Yeah, it's just a kickoff. That doesn't seem like a problem.
Yeah.
It's a good collection of coins here. And no Tron. That that means they're doing some due diligence over there, so this is good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the only stable coin. Oh no, never mind. I'm wrong. I was looking at the thing funny.
Yeah, TUSD.
3 of the coins are stable coins. They have TUSD, USDC, and USDT. So hopefully a new kicked off exchange will mean that people will be less likely to use those USDT markets.
Why do you think there isn't Maker?
I'm not sure that people are all in on Maker or on DAI yet. I don't know why it's not there. Obviously, it's the best as far as I'm concerned because I think that the algorithm works and it's decentralized. But I don't know. Good
Also,
question.
I think it might not be on Binance right now.
Oh, it might not be, actually. I
So,
remember
yeah.
you needed to use like Hit BTC or something to use it, so maybe they just
Yeah.
haven't gotten up there yet.
So that, and the last part of the rapid fire is New Jersey has started a blockchain initiative task force, and this is kind of a funny task. It's just a funny thing. It's a task force. They got to figure it out. If
Until we can figure out what's going on.
What they're figuring out is if blockchain is actually a disruptive technology that is not going anywhere. So New Jersey has a task force to figure this out.
Do you think that we can get them to look at this whole internet thing? I mean, it's sticking around, it feels like.
I mean, I don't know. It feels like they should probably do that. Maybe they never had a task force for the internet, 20 years ago, and they should probably figure that out.
Hey, come on, I'm mining it.
Yeah, hey, Pazan, I think this is a blockchain is going to be a thing. All right, that was a really bad Italian New Jersey.
Is that your Mario impression?
I was thinking of Sopranos.
It's me, Adam.
This is kind of cool. Sorry to anyone who isn't Italian and living in New Jersey for that terrible accent. But yeah, so I mean, this is good. This is another state.
I like how you apologize to everybody else except the people that you totally misrepresented there.
Yeah.
It's like, everybody who I didn't just make sound like an idiot. Sorry about that.
I was just recalling The Sopranos. Forgive me for giving a bad accent. So Nevada, Ohio, and Wyoming, they all are kind of getting started on the blockchain. They're jumping on the blockchain bandwagon. And New Jersey now is as well. And this is good because eventually this is going to start providing a legal framework for, how to operate within each state.
You know what I just learned? That Reno is becoming like a huge tech hub.
Yeah, I remember there was a podcast with Rob Wolf on Joe Rogan a while back, and he was talking about how Reno was kind of on the up and up, and Elon Musk has the Gigafactory there, and then next to it is this Blockchains LLC company that I still have no idea what they do, but they literally opened up a massive office next to Elon Musk's Gigafactory. So also it's kind of in an area where you're not too far away from SF if you need to go there. And Tahoe is not too far. I could see it being, and it's also in Nevada where people happen to, they have favorable, there's a lot of good things tax-wise for Nevada.
Yeah, they don't have a state tax. It's pretty favorable. Yeah. It's one of those things. All right, before we move on, boys, I got a couple things to say. One, if you haven't entered our giveaway for the $100 Wild Foods gift card, you still can. There's, I think, 2 days left on that or something like that. I just sent out a tweet. You can enter it in a bunch of different ways. You can follow us on Twitter. You can do all kinds of stuff. Click on the link. Every little thing you do gets you an entry, and then we're going to give away 2 $50 gift cards to Wild Foods. And why are we giving away gift cards to Wild Foods? Because Wild Foods is a sponsor of the show, and we are madly in love with Wild Foods. We're wildly in love with them, and their wild food ingredient. God, this is a terrible ad. Listen, they've got real food, real ingredients, and they'll get it to you really fast if you order from them.
I actually have a non-chili kind of thing to talk about. I just want to say that I had the Wild Foods Cocoa Tropics. I put it in my coffee every day, and I legitimately think it really helps my brain.
No, it's awesome. It's a blend of a bunch of different mushrooms and some cocoa powder. Not cocoa powder, sorry, maca powder and turmeric. So it's a proprietary blend that they made, and it is pretty sweet. So anyway, check out wildfoods.co. You can go get your stuff there, and you can use code CryptoBasic12 for 12% off your order. We don't even get a kickback from that. We just give you just a discount. That's it. All right, Karim, I think you need to talk about your favorite thing, a big bank.
I see what you did there. But this story is about a big bank and Coinbase. Guys, Barclays, or a source has been saying that Barclays is ending their relationship or partnership with Coinbase. So what were they doing exactly? Well, it looks like they had a partnership that started in March of last year when Coinbase started spreading into Europe. And Barclays was being used in order to allow, particularly British people to be able to buy and sell crypto deposit, use pounds, basically. Neither company, though, responded when this journalist reached out for comment. And specifically, they said that they repeatedly asked Coinbase for comment, and Coinbase would not comment. So we'll see.
Repeatedly?
Repeatedly. I even bolded it here. Repeated.
They're like, hey, Coinbase. Hey, Coinbase. Coinbase.
How come you and Barclays aren't friends anymore?
Coinbase ghosted them?
Coinbase ghosted them. And guys, this has actually been a common problem for crypto. There was a survey that showed, at least in the UK, 3/4 of crypto businesses had to bank overseas. And it wasn't even just businesses like Coinbase that are actually handling transactions and need banking services, but you even have situations where like a web developer or a web designer can't get banking services because they're doing it for a crypto-related company, which is pretty absurd, of course.
Yeah, of course that's absurd. There's been all kinds of weird things that shouldn't block people from using crypto that are probably going to continue to get worse before they get better.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we'll see what Coinbase says about this. And honestly, if they have some kind of other method of facilitating things for people in Europe, then it might not really matter. Or they might be in damage control mode right now and trying to figure out what they're going to do. But anyway, so it's an ebb and flow. It's also just a reminder that I think in our podcast, we certainly cover a lot of these positive stories where we're like, oh, look, this major institution and this major institution is now working with that blockchain. And it does seem like a relentless movement forward. But it's important to remind ourselves that, no, it's actually an ebb and flow. And some of these partnerships are being canceled and removed. And maybe it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back constantly,
I actually saw just today, there was 2 stories, one saying Santander, which I think is a Spanish bank. They reported, they reportedly halted Coinbase payments. And then 7 hours later, they then came out and said they denied they were blocking Coinbase deposits in the UK. So yeah, like what Brent is saying. I feel like this happened a few years ago in America for a bit.
Yeah, it still is. You still can't use credit cards or many credit cards on Coinbase, and some of the debit cards or banks still block you. And I suspect that thing where they said they were blocking it and they weren't is related to this. It may be that Barclays has ended their relationship, and because of that, it looks like they're being blocked, but they're actually not. But we're gonna stick with Karim here because we're going to crypto around the world. He's the only one who ever puts these stories in crypto around the world, I guess.
Yeah, you guys are so America-centric. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about the UK, which apparently is not crypto around the world. I guess it's Coinbase, so, that's fine. But tell me about New Zealand and what they're doing. Random New Zealand anecdote / tangent. I read an article about a feminist brothel that is run in New Zealand where, I guess it's legal there, and the brothel specifically is run by somebody who labels themselves as feminist, and they have a whole setup for how they make sure the girls are treated well. They ask them, do you want to take this client? Nobody has to do it. Anyway, it was interesting to read about the brothel that's being run the nice way.
Flights to New Zealand are only 700 round trip.
Got it. Yeah, both of those are great segues for my next story.
Attention please. This is the final call.
Which is New Zealand is about to become, and by that I mean they did become, the first country to legalize salary payments in cryptocurrency. It is now legally allowing companies to pay salaries in crypto and bonuses starting on September 1st. This was determined by the country's tax agency that ruled, you can go ahead and do salaries, bonuses, wages in cryptocurrency. They put a couple of stipulations. One is that the crypto has to be directly convertible into some kind of standard form of payment, which makes sense. There has to be a market for it, right? So you can't use some like SafeX or some weird.
You can't make your own company's coin and pay people out in it.
That's right. Well, there's another
got Wild Foods coin now, and everybody's getting paid in Wild Foods coin.
Exactly, Brent. There's another mention of that. They actually exclude self-employed workers from switching their income to crypto, probably for similar reasons to that. Anyway, not a lot of depth here. We'll see how many people take advantage of it or anything, but it's good to see it in the law books. You can now get paid in Bitcoin. So, Brent, you can go do the research about whether this applies to all the businesses that you like in New Zealand. But for the time being, crypto's on the rise.
Well, just to be clear, I don't know if I like those or not, but I am willing to try them. And I would even go ahead and do a relationship with this particular brothel. If they wanted to fly me out, I would be happy to test their product and report on the podcast.
Always willing to sacrifice himself.
All right, maybe we get lucky and next week we have Mark Cuban and the owner of the brothel on the same podcast. Well,
we'll see if we have available bookings. We'll do it live.
On location.
But then I have one more place to go around the world. Guys, when I talk about transparency, freedom, lack of corruption, what do we think of? Russia. That is right. So Moscow.
Oh, I was gonna say America. Damn it! So close though. So close.
No. This is kind of a funny story. It's like, man, I'm torn here because it's good. It's good, but also, come on, Moscow. So here's the title of the story: Moscow to develop a blockchain system for transparent city services. And everything looks pretty good. It basically is a story about how Moscow is getting ready to start bidding for a contract to build an Ethereum-based blockchain system. They're willing to spend 57 million rubles is more or less the budget, which is about $850,000. And they want to create a system, again, built on Ethereum that is going to help with certain services that the city does. Let's say, for example, the issuance of documents, maybe for property owners or for people who are residents. I guess the farming slot, the allocation of slots in the city farmers market, they could do it through this blockchain system. And they wanted to use a proof of authority verification system as well as having a max capacity of 1.5 million users. And what's interesting is apparently this isn't the first experiment with blockchain that Moscow has been doing. The IT department has said that they want to use blockchain to increase transparency in order to increase public trust in the system. So they want to integrate this with, they also have another program called Active Citizen that allows people to basically vote or express their opinion about certain municipal things. Nothing major, but like, for example...
Yeah, not anything like electing the president or anything
No. Right. But,
let's not get crazy or crazy.
Bike path. Listen, but this is a municipal government, right? So that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. But also, all right, well, this is at a very local level. Where to put bike paths, where, what kind of street decor to use, city events. I guess it could be an interesting way for communities to become closer, or for you to be able to express. Like right now, we don't really communicate with our city about events and stuff. We live where we live, and whatever goes around us goes around us. So it would be interesting to see if blockchain does provide some framework for more responsive government at a very local level. But
I actually love this. And I have a specific reason why, which is this is kind of a rant also. Because, the birds and the limes and the jumps and all these dumb little one words, like four-letter.
Whoa.
No, hold on. Here's why I'm going on the rant, is that I don't mind that they exist. Granted, I've never been on one because I just don't trust myself using a lime. I went on a skateboard once like 20 years ago and felt like I nearly died. I would hit up a jump. Like, I like biking. That's cool. But also, I do not think it is safe for anyone right now. This includes the cars, and this includes the bikers / limers / fucking whatever, because there is no bike path. There's no path. There needs to be another path in every city that has these for these alternative vehicles. And so it's like, I'm walking and my hands flail when I talk sometimes.
I'm walking here.
Yeah, I'm walking here. Come on. And I will legitimately like I could definitely just hit a limer passing by on the sidewalk. That's dangerous. Also, it's dangerous for them to be in the road. So, yeah, I don't know. I think like voting for something like this so that we can have new bike paths or new, stuff like this is actually pretty cool, because this isn't something that like ultimately that the state officials care about or the federal officials care about. This is something that like I care about because I don't want to hit someone.
You're right. And it is a form of more responsive stuff. And listen, ultimately, like let's make two assumptions, right? That this is a legitimate, genuine attempt to make municipal government in Moscow more transparent and more responsive. And also, let's take it for granted that the big picture Russian government is corrupt and oligarchic and authoritarian and all that stuff. Well, if a bunch of these little type of projects take off, at the very least, it makes it more difficult for an authoritarian government to easily cheat, steal, all this kind of stuff. And change happens from the ground up, right? So who knows?
Yeah.
Do you think they have lime and bird and stuff in Moscow?
Maybe something similar to it, but it's just probably called like babushka. I don't know. That's my favorite Russian word. Is that a Russian word? Babushka? Come on. You're being Meshuggah right now. Do you know what that is?
Well, that was Hebrew or Yiddish.
That's Yiddish. Babushka is a old woman or grandmother.
Ooh, we're back in crypto
in
around
Poland
the world.
or Russia. So
it could have been a Polish word. All right.
Yeah.
I want to take a second here because we were on the subject of limes and Moscow and all stuff. And I want to tell people, first of all, the scooters are super fun. Second, they are super dangerous. JJ almost killed herself, my girlfriend, when she fell off of one. And 3, don't use lime if you use one because they're scumbags. Like, I tried to use one, they're broken all the time. So, like, if you get one and it's broken and you boop it and you turn it on, you just rate it 1 star and then tell them it was broken and they refund you. Well, I guess, like, I somehow managed to start 2 congruent. I started a lime, it was broken, but the next thing they had there was a bird. So I turned on the bird, and I guess, like, I didn't end the ride properly with the lime because it was broken, and I just sent them the message. I was like, I didn't use this. And they're like, oh, well, according to your phone's GPS, you went these places. And I'm like, yeah, I know, because I grabbed the bird that was next to it. So they said, okay, sure, we refunded you. But they only refunded $7 of the $8. And they were like, well, the $1 is the fee to start. And I was like, really? You wanted to get me for $1? Now I'm just mad because now I don't trust that they're ever going to refund me anything. So I'm never going to use a lime again. I don't care. And I went off on them and then they gave me the $1. But I'm just mad that I had to even think about that. So yeah, don't use lime.
Yeah, Postmates, you just get it all back if like something goes wrong. But more importantly, the Moscow does have scooters, and they are. So I'm gonna get this pronunciation wrong, but the rental service is called Delissimocat.
Yes, Delissimocat, of course.
Delissimocat. And then it literally translates to share scooter. So there you go. Moscow is in the lime game.
Not a single one of those companies is profitable, by the way. They're all like getting trounced.
Really?
Because they can't. Their scooters get destroyed. They can't keep them on the road long enough to break even on them. So it's going to be interesting to see how those companies shake out. And then we just have like a graveyard of dead scooters somewhere.
And a lot and people that have had serious injuries on them over the
Actually, this is the point in history where the incentive to create the indestructible scooter comes into place. We're 6 months away, guys, from the indestructible scooter. So enjoy.
With like a force field bubble around you.
Yeah.
Titanium alloy.
So that Adam can't knock you off your scooter when he's walking in.
Yeah, I'm walking here. Come on now.
All right, enough about companies that aren't making money. I think it's time to talk about companies that made money and then stole it. It's time for That's a Scam.
Scam. No. That's a scam.
Yeah, so this one came kind of...
This one's rough.
So I think like late last night, I was searching for articles, and of course, Dovey Wan, who I mentioned last week and mentioned twice before. Yeah, she's because she's very tuned in what's happening in China. And she said that the biggest Chinese Ponzi scheme has scammed 70,000 Bitcoin and 800K Ethereum, totaling almost $3 billion. This is way bigger than BitConnect, right?
Yep.
How much was BitConnect again?
I think it was $1 billion. Or
I think
under?
they got up to about $1 billion market cap. Yeah.
Yeah. So this token is called Plus Token, and it started mid 2018 as a high yield return, with like air quotes, and they basically they had, I think, ongoing sell-offs since about July, and in her tweet. There's actually like a lot of tweets about this, but there's one with a picture of the 6 people that have now been caught and detained and are probably facing, like, honestly, decades worth of jail time. And
if for no other reason than crypto is, even if they didn't scam, like they're doing something illegal for China.
Yeah. And it's kind of a weird situation, though, so let's say Binance, when they had their scam, or not scam, they had their hack, or there was something where, like, immediately CZ gets on Twitter and they're saying we're going to give money back and blah, blah, blah. And it's very vocal to everyone. And, like, you know, other exchanges kind of were like tracking it down. But it's harder when it's in China, because they're so kind of, you know, private, or there were multiple things where it's like, technically crypto exchanges are not really legal, but they still exist. And there's all this gray area. So it's not like you can go, like Binance can go, hey, to this random, you know, Chinese exchange, or hit up the Chinese federal authorities and kind of get help from that. So I don't know, maybe they'll do something to get people's money back. I'm not really sure how all this works with that.
Nobody's getting their money back on this one.
Yeah, that's a hard truth, but you know.
And it looks like this Bitcoin and Ethereum might have, I don't know if they seized it or if they figured out that it was in the wallets and they can't seize it. This is pretty breaking right now. Like, we're going to learn more about this. We'll probably do a follow-up next week. But we're talking about $3 billion worth of these coins, and they're going to be sold. Like, they're not going to just sit there. Either the authorities are going to sell them when they can, or these people are going to sell them and try to get money out of them. We're talking about damn near 1% of the total supply of cryptocurrency in existence is here in this scam. It's insane.
Yeah, so if you're wondering why, like, there's been a big price drop, Karim, even, you know, I assume you haven't checked, but yeah, it's been a rough couple of days. I mean, if you have 1% of the market cap dropping out, that's going to be or not dropping out, but kind of being moved. Or obviously, it's not happening all at one time, but I'm sure there's been a lot within the recent days.
I don't want to spoil too much, but in the rant section, I might have something to say about why I did look at the price.
Oh shit. Called Karim out for not looking at price, and he did.
Also, I'm going to put there's a picture, one of her tweets, that is basically a graph that was made from this security audit firm, PeckShield, that they do an analysis of the money flow of Plus Token's wallet. And it's kind of cool. I mean, granted, it's not cool. Like, scamming isn't cool, obviously, but seeing where it originates from Plus Token, and all these addresses, and then how, you know, those go to different wallets, and then some go to Bittrex, some go to Huobi, some go to, you know, all these. Like, it's cool that they were able to figure that out. You can definitely, you know, it's interesting that you can track all this stuff.
The other thing that I'll say is I saw an anecdote by somebody. They were saying that they went to, like, one of those little booths where this lady was selling. She was selling, like, wallets, real ones, not crypto wallets. She was selling, like, knives and stuff like that, just like a street vendor, right? And she had a sign for Plus Token and Bitcoin. So the person started talking to her about, like, what Plus Token was. And she was like, it's amazing. It's the best thing ever. I put my money in there and I get 8% every month back on my investment. And the guy said that he warned her. He's like, that sounds kind of scammy. You might not want to do that. But it didn't matter what he said. She was, you know, more ingrained in it, even just by him bringing it up. And I'm like, well, just another one of these. Why
would you question a 96% guaranteed return on investment per year, Brian?
Yeah.
What's sketchy about that? Oh, man, these naysayers.
It's almost as if it would be real easy to find all of these scams just by figuring out which ones are guaranteeing you some sort of massive return.
It's just crazy how you can prey on people's emotions when there are a lot of people who just probably have never had even close, like never been even close to rich. And they've just been working their, normal lives every day. And then they get targeted by some sinister ad company. And then all of a sudden these people are like, wow, this is a chance to get out of my situation. And then they just get completely wrecked. It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that.
But all right, we have another scam story. Cypher Trace. Brent, you want to talk about that?
It's somewhat related to what we were just talking about. So Cypher Trace put out a report that says $4.26 billion has been stolen so far this year in cryptocurrency hacks or exit scams. Just in quarter two, $124 million has been stolen from exchanges, bringing the year-to-date total up to $227 million. The whole report has a bunch of little points that it hits on, but I thought it was kind of funny that they mentioned that $851 million was lost by Bitfinex. And they also were very clear that the numbers that they're reporting in US dollars are the US dollar values when the hacks happened. So technically the hacks are significantly higher because the market has gone up significantly since quarter one. So it's even more than we're actually reporting. I also thought it was pretty interesting in the report that Monero was only used for 4% of dark market transactions, which I was kind of blown away by. I would have assumed that, I don't use dark markets, but I would assume that they had moved away from Bitcoin after Silk Road, but apparently not. Apparently they're still using Bitcoin. Monero was the fourth most used coin, or total out of all of them. Litecoin and Ethereum were also above Monero. Doge was the fifth most used coin on darknet purchases, which I thought was pretty funny. I don't know, like, where you're buying like weed with Doge, but I feel like that's got to be fun.
Yeah, I'll take an ounce of weed for 7 million Doge.
Dude, my favorite Doge thing, I don't know why, it's so dumb, but my favorite thing is how they keep referencing their future price, like 1 Doge equals 1 Doge. And that's always, I'm like, oh, yeah, that is true.
So anyway, there's a whole list of like the events that have happened over the course of the year, and they kind of sum each one up that are kind of related to regulation or price. Pretty cool report. You can definitely click on it in the show notes from Cypher Trace. Finally, they have a big section on the new Financial Action Task Force Group, which is FATF is how it's abbreviated, which, as we know, is related to somebody on the show. It means that anything over $1,000 is going to require identifying information, and that they suspect they're going to build a way to make everybody identify anything over $1,000, but that nobody can see except governments. So they'll do some sort of, like, government has the key to the identifying information if they get approval or something crazy. And I'm just thinking, like, yeah, no way that's going to work out badly. So keep an eye on that as far as like sending money and this stupid FATF task force thing, and hopefully they aren't able to succeed in that.
It's like, this is why we can't have nice things, because there's dudes that, although you did forget to mention that of the 4.2 billion, 2.9 of that was Plus token.
Oh yeah, 2.9 of that was we're including the Plus token thing. That's
got nothing to do with us. That's just all China. We can't. We're not.
Look over here.
It's only 1.4 billion for the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's like the poker players that win like the $1 million buy-ins, and all of a sudden they're the winningest poker player in the world. It's like, yeah, good job, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, I actually grabbed a mailbag question for today.
Ooh.
And the question was on Discord. I actually answered it on Discord, but I gotten this question enough times that I felt like I should give the answer on the podcast. It's from In Technicolor. They said, just want to ask, as I'm not entirely sure where to ask this, but has anyone had any luck or experience with crypto cards? I'm looking for essentially the equivalent of a debit card. Does this exist yet? I've come across Reno a few times in my search, as well as, for better or worse, Coinbase's Shift. I don't think Coinbase Shift is available in the U.S., so I can only answer this as a U.S. citizen. I don't know what Reno is. I've never looked it up. But the closest thing that I've found in the United States to a crypto debit card is Cash App. You can, inside Cash App, swiping very easily, buy and sell Bitcoin in literally half a second. And you can have a debit card linked to your Cash App. They have the Cash App debit card. It's like this black card that they send you. And it's got a couple of cool features. One, it has these little power-ups that you can put on it, which get you money off of different things. So one was like 15% off Chipotle. One was the one that I leave mostly activated is the one that's 10% off of Whole Foods. So literally anytime I go to Whole Foods, I get my Prime money off and then I get my 10% off, which starts to make the prices at Whole Foods palatable. So that's what I use. And I have very often noticed that I have no cash in there and sold Bitcoin in order to put cash in there and then swipe the debit card. So that is the closest thing that I know of to a crypto debit card. They don't take fees, but they do have they have a spread that they make money on for the exchange rates. It's owned by the same guy who owns Twitter, Jack, and that's what I would use. And I'm gonna segue right into my rant here in the rant section about Roger Ver. He's deleted the tweet, so I can't actually remember what it said specifically. But I just wanted to remind everybody that something that I kind of forgot. I forgot how much of a piece of shit Roger Ver is because
Craig Wright.
Craig Wright has made him look good by comparison. So I'm like, I don't hate him as much. And I've kind of like stopped mentioning that he's a turd or whatever. But just to be clear, Roger Ver is also a fucking turd. So he posted a tweet that said, the reason Jack is interested in the Lightning Network is because he's clearly sleeping with Elizabeth Stark.
Wow.
Like, it was ridiculous. And I commented on the Crypto Basic Twitter, like, just in case you forgot how much of a piece of shit this guy is because of Craig Wright, like, here you go. And again, I don't remember the exact wording of the tweet, and he deleted it. So, and he didn't say like in the comments or anything, guys, this was just a troll, calm down. Like it was just obnoxious. So just a reminder that Roger Ver sucks. And I don't know what this next rant means. I think this is you, Karim, right?
Yeah. So I just wanted to rant a little positivity. As you guys know, I'm not a very active trader. So that means that I get less hands-on experience with the actual trading platforms, the softwares, the wallets, because a lot of things for me are like make a purchase, put it into your hard wallet, don't look at it again for a long time. So I was doing some portfolio maintenance and some just looking around and stuff, and that
portfolio. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you're the only person I've ever heard it pronounce it portfolio.
Well, I am a
portfolio. Hey, come on, paisan.
I'm trading here.
Hey, I'm talking here. Yeah, you're right. Portfolio is correct. My brain sometimes reads it out loud, phonetically. Anyway, so that means I had to do a lot of maintenance, guys. I had to go through old wallets. I even had to restore some keys because I forgot some passwords, and I had to do the whole process. And all I have to say is across the board, I'm talking Ledger, I'm talking Neon Wallet, I'm talking the exchanges themselves. Everything has gotten so user-friendly. It was so easy to use. A lot of the mistakes from before where you're like worried about putting in the key are no longer relevant. Like everything is starting to, in my opinion, it started to look like a real user experience and not like a nerd kind of like who's really into this experience, but like something that if my mom was looking at it, yeah, I should be a little lost, but she would have an idea of what the next step is, you know? So yeah, I'm really happy about that. That's cool. So I'll check it out again in 10 years and see how it looks. And, no, but seriously, it was good stuff.
What did you do to were you like rebalancing?
I did rebalance a little bit. For example, I converted everything that I had left in Dash into more Cardano because I think that Cardano is really undervalued. That's not investment advice. That was my personal opinion. So this really started because I wanted to buy some Bitcoin because I think that the recession markers are really clear. I think that we're really about to hit, some major kind of money printing worldwide. So I wanted to buy Bitcoin. And then when I was looking at it, I'm like, wow, dude, Bitcoin has held so strong and you have so many projects here that are like a shadow of themselves. You know, Bitcoin is still trading at 50% of its all-time high, and Cardano was trading at like 4% of its all-time high.
Right.
So then that made me really reevaluate. So I did a couple of things. I decided to keep my Neo because that was my first crypto investment, and I want to see where it goes, and it might have a future. But I took all the accumulated gas, and I turned that into Cardano. I turned my Dash into Cardano. I took some extra Bitcoin and turned it into Cardano. And then, you know, whatever, I'll probably do some Bitcoin investments still, but that was what prompted.
I love this. You're like, I wanted to buy some more Bitcoin, and then once I actually got in there, I bought all Cardano.
Hey, got rid of my Bitcoin for Cardano. Yeah.
I do find it. So yesterday I was playing poker and I happened to mention the podcast and we were just talking crypto, and it seems like there's this pattern that I keep hearing of a lot of the Bitcoin, the maximalists are just like, all these coins are just useless and they're overvalued and they're all theoretical. And it's like, yeah, to some extent.
That's exactly what people said about Bitcoin. Like,
yeah, and exactly, it's like all coins are dead, and it's like, what does, like, that doesn't mean anything. Stop.
It doesn't even mean anything. It doesn't even mean anything. If anything, like this drives me crazy. You could make an argument, I think, that Bitcoin is going to crush every other, I don't know, just straight up currency. But what's the case to compare Bitcoin to Ethereum or Cardano? Or they're not even trying to do the same thing. Bitcoin doesn't even itself claim to do the same things that Ethereum or Cardano are trying to do. Or Binance coin. Binance isn't trying to be a currency or so. So it just doesn't make any sense. It means that you look at the entire space as this one thing because you like this one project.
Yeah.
And I'm clearly the most pro-Bitcoin person on the cast, or at least I've been for a long time. It still doesn't supplant everything else. And it's just like that other comment about, you know, some people are trying to make it seem like Bitcoin supplants gold. No, you can't make jewelry with Bitcoin. You can't make conductors with Bitcoin. That doesn't make any sense.
not yet.
There we go. We turned it into a rant. We turned his things are getting better into a rant. Yeah. And
we got there. Look, Adam, we still don't know how you almost died.
Oh,
I feel like it's time.
Well, actually, I have 2 in the past month, which is kind of wild. We'll
You should ride more scooters and you get more stories.
Yes.
Was it when you texted Brent, "Oh, I don't die on my 30x year"? Get a little reference to the main event. Never mind.
Oh yeah, okay. I thought you were referencing that.
I don't boast that on the first date.
I don't bust it.
Kings versus aces.
That was wild. That was literally like 3 hands later. So I was my roommate was he was like de-thawing a chicken that had been thawed for hours, and it was a massive chicken that he was trying to cut up. And
So, de-thawing would be freezing, correct?
yeah, so that is not a word.
Fine.
De-thaw is not a word. I don't know what the technical word is then. But yeah, basically he was just cutting this chicken that was thawing for hours. And he was having some trouble with it. And he was using like a decent knife, like not a huge one, but like a smallish one. And I'm just like kind of sitting. He's facing me, cutting it with the chicken, like kind of right in front of me as I'm sitting, like facing him, talking to him on the counter. And my other roommate is there too. And all of a sudden the knife just breaks apart in the chicken. And all the knife pieces go flying like into 4 pieces. Whoa. And 2 of them, like I saw them just go like whoosh, like through, like cross, like if the one on the left, and like if let's say there were 2 pieces that like I saw one going left to right and one going right to left, like past me, and it could have just gone straight into me in my neck or something.
That's pretty scary, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's like
Final
some freak
Destination
accident.
4.
Yeah, it was like a free accident. Like, this is such a bullshit way to go.
Dude,
and then
agreed.
speaking of,
Come on, I'm living here.
speaking of another bullshit way to go, I was driving. This is in between the main event, day 2 and day 3. We had a day off, and I'm crushing it. I have like 200 big blinds or something ridiculous. Like I'm way over average, feeling great. And I'm driving to my steakhouse, Echo and Rig in Vegas, by the way. Fantastic
Echo and Rig is
steakhouse.
great.
Yeah, you should go there if you can. And it's like 7 p.m. on a Sunday. No one's on the road. I'm going 70 miles an hour. And all of a sudden I see this black thing in the road. And I'm like, okay, like I need to move out of the way of this thing, so I react real quick and I'm like, oh shit, what is that? Let's see what it is. I'm going to move. And then I realize, holy shit, that thing is moving towards me. What the fuck? And as I'm realizing what this thing is, it's a fucking tire bouncing on my side of the road, coming at me at like 70 miles an hour. And it goes like bounce. And at that point, I'm like, oh shit, it's a tire. Oh my God, what do I do? And I just move. But as I move, I realize I'm completely helpless to move anywhere. And it just bounces right over my car, bounces over another car, and goes into the grass and doesn't harm anyone. And I'm just like, holy shit, that just like fucking happened. I legitimately, and I was looking up like YouTube clips of tires hitting cars after, and honestly, I would have been wrecked. Like if it hits the windshield, that windshield is not going to withstand the force of a rubber tire coming at you at 7 miles an hour, and it would just go into me and probably just completely wreck me. So yeah,
I am really glad
today
you
we
survived,
learned that
buddy.
Adam like really sees these events and plays them out in his head and how he dies horribly in all of them.
I have a legitimate question. Have you, anytime in the last month, like made some kind of wandering vagrant angry, or was there like a gypsy whose goat you took? Is there anything that we should know about?
I feel like I need to give back to the gods somehow or something to, maybe make an offering to avoid this.
Throw some miles my way and we'll call it clear.
There you go.
Since we're on topic of cars, I don't know why this has been like such an off-topic show, but I was driving a Tesla the last few days, and it just solidifies everything that I thought about that car.
Sick brag. Like, is it amazing?
It's an old one, but I used Turo when I was in Vegas, and instead it cost me an extra $40 or $50 to rent the Tesla than it would have to rent like some shitty car from Enterprise or whatever. So I just did it, and it was amazing.
Really?
Like,
oh, dude, I want one so bad. I'm not gonna lie. That's like my one really materialistic desire.
I want one without ever driving one, but it's not. I don't consider this materialistic. Like it's just so much better than every other car out there. Like the not having to turn your horsepower into torque. Like the second you touch the gas, the car's like, I know you test drove one, so I don't know how like aggressive you got with it, but I could be doing like 70 on the highway, jam my foot down on the gas, and the G-forces would throw everybody back in the car instantaneously, and I would be at like 100 miles an hour almost instantly.
Not to mention the safety features and the fact that the inside is like super sexy and comfortable. Oh my God, I want one so bad. But how can I buy a Tesla when Cardano's so cheap?
Karim goes to the Tesla dealership and walks out with more Cardano and no car. He's like, sorry, buddy, no sale for you today.
Yeah, I just did some math. I'm going to buy 3 Teslas in 2050. See you there.
All right. I think we've successfully ruined any of the crypto content in this podcast, so I think we did a good job, guys.
I actually think we did a pretty good blend of like kind of like going way off topic and then reeling it back and then kind of off topic again, and didn't go too off the rails.
I agree with Adam. We did great.
All right. We did. We should give ourselves a pat on the back. We're podcasting here. That's the end. Listen, make sure to follow us on Patreon. Join our Patreon. $1 an episode would be the minimum there. You get a cool little engine token, non-fungible token. And also follow our Twitch, Crypto Basic. I think we're going to start like streaming. I tried streaming a game called Gods Unchained. It was basically Hearthstone. It was basically a Hearthstone clone. Almost exactly the same, but maybe there's another game that'll come out that'll be more interesting to stream. I don't know, but in our giveaway that we're doing with the Wild Foods, we've gotten, I don't know, 20 followers or something like that on Twitch, so hopefully people will join us when we actually decide to do that. My test stream didn't go that well, but we'll try it again in the future. All right, that's it. Remember, Karim, you've got something to share.
I do?
Yeah, that we're not people.
Oh.
I am people. I believe Adam is people as well. And despite the cold emptiness of his heart, Brent is people too. However, he's not a financial advisor. Neither is Adam. Neither is me. Make your own investment decisions, people. We're just entertainers.
See you guys.
Later.